Hello and welcome back to another video of mine. I'm glad you can join me. I wanted to highlight a couple games. I believe it's Reed, MCY, Aiden, Killer Norwell. A couple of these five in particular that I did yesterday. Sorry, it's been a couple days since my last upload. Been working a lot. Finally have a couple days off. I've also been playing a lot of Overwatch. If you want to add me, my tag is Waldo12427, or 12427 behind the Waldo. I'm in the 17 or 1800s right now, I think, for competitive. I can play anyone or any class, not any character. Support, tank, defense, or DPS. Whatever you need. My DPS is Sombra, though. She's quite a lot of fun. But this is not an Overwatch video. This is EDH, which is why you come to me. So let's jump into these games. I can't remember which one's which off the top of my head, but I wanted to make sure that I could show you the very cool gameplays. Alright, so I'm playing Rashmi in all of these games. Riku, this was a pretty interesting game. I'll pull up the chat just ahead. Good luck, have fun. It was interesting because I don't think he was as experienced with Riku as some of the people who build Riku decks generally are. So I see a sweet opening hand, Forest, Vault, Cold Steel Heart, Tutor. And I decide I'm going to go for the turn 2 Cold Steel Heart. If I pick up an island, I can go island into tap Mana Vault for Cold Steel Heart, and then use the 1 mana floating from Mana Vault and the green mana to 3 visits, getting my breeding pool, and leave a counterspell to counter whatever his turn 2 play is, if it's devastating to me. So, awesome ramp hand, and this is really where Mana Vault shines. So it's giving me 3 mana, but it's ramping me by 2. Almost immediately. So it's effectively a Sol Ring combined with the 2 cards in my hand, because you have something to filter the vault into. And it's one of the things that I see in EDH every now and then, where people will keep a hand that's so explosive because they have land vault or land ring vault, but they have no follow-up play. They don't have something backbreaking to use that mana for, like an Amnesia or this type of super ramp hand that immediately puts down turn 3 Rashmi with counterspell backup, or Rashmi and a mystical tutor into Amnesia. So I know that I can go and get the Amnesia with the tutor, so I'm short 1 blue mana of being able to cast it at this point. And you guys know from watching the few Rashmi videos I've put up so far, she draws cards really well. I've made a couple edits to the deck I'm going to talk about after the 5 videos also, because I was tweaking it in between games some. And I don't remember what cards I took out either. I'm just going to talk about some of the ones that I remember adding. So I'm going to, like I said, I pick up that island, which is fantastic. And you see me doing the play here. I ramp into the 3 visits. I draw Dismiss for my next turn. He goes for Rampant Growth. I let that go, not worth the counterspell. Pick up Dismiss, and I decide I'm going to put my shields down for a moment, push out Rashmi, and I have Mystical's Tutor to cycle with Rashmi in play and draw me Amnesia. Because I'm going to get the draw off Rashmi, which maybe it's a ramp spell, maybe it's, hey, a land that produces blue mana. Oh, sorry, no, I going and getting the breeding pool is the 3rd blue because of Cold Steel Heart. So I'm planning to Mystical Tutor for Amnesia here. Thought Vessel into Farhaven Elf. Well, that's fine. I'm going to Mystical Tutor. Let me pull up my Revealed. Show off that Amnesia. Get a free Hinterland Harbor, which is more than enough, because I needed any land there, not particularly blue. Rip his hand apart, losing Mercurial Chemister, Temur Ascendancy, and Altered Ego. And I pick up a Negate off that Amnesia, so that's pretty useful, even though I'm not going to be able to use it for anything. My opponent, they had 1 land in their hand also, which they played Mountain here. And run the Riku out. Back in. There's definitely no thought for them to leave a block and trade my Rashmi for their Riku. I'm going to have more mana than them, and I'm drawing more cards. They need Riku to stick on table. So I could see keeping up Elf to chump, but I don't know if it's the correct decision. I don't run Rashmi because the chance of them having something to blow me out, it's just not worth it. I'd rather keep up the mana. And I'm just sitting pretty with 3 counter spells. My first one I'm going to use is the Dismiss, though, just because it's a double cycle with Rashmi. It's the highest CMC, so the chance of getting to cast something off it is pretty high. Kega the Tide Star, well, that is a wonderful Dismiss target. I would not like you to have that. And I think off Rashmi I get a ramp spell. Oh, no, they concede in response. And they say they don't want to play it against counterspell.deck. And you know what, I can understand that, but, like, hey, I countered one thing. Yeah, I countered a single thing over the entire game. It's just I had Mystical Tutor to Amnesia, and there was nothing they could do about it. So I don't fault the Riku player, but I mean, you do yourself a disservice when you play a very potent commander and don't play the potent deck behind it. If I want to play goofy like Astral Slide Zur, which if you guys follow the Commander Versus series was put up a little while ago, but I don't. But I sit down at a random play group with it, and I'm not with a bunch of buddies that know that's what I was building. I'm doing myself a disservice because they see Zur the Enchanter, and that's telling them to immediately assume play against Zur the Enchanter, but you don't know what his deck does. What are you going to assume out of seeing a Zur the Enchanter? You're going to assume it's Doomsday or Tendrils or Adnaw's Zur. It's combo Zur. And that's the real issue, because then they're gunning for you like you're playing that best deck, but you're not. So playing something like Riku or Animar that isn't the best version of it does yourself a disservice against players who are competitively minded, because they're going to play against you in a multiplayer format as if it is, and you're going to draw more attention than you want to draw to yourself. If you want to build like a janky, goofy deck, pick a little bit more of a stranger commander, a less well-known commander. If you're going to play Edric in your green-blue ramp deck, which you'll see in a couple, so we have a trend for the videos. Don't use, like, if you want to play green-blue ramp, don't use Edric, because I'm going to play against you as if it's an Edric deck. That's going to be I'm assuming it's going to be a hyper-competitive build, because if I don't, I will lose to the hyper-competitive build. So that's this game. Sorry, a little bit of a rant. Alright, that was Reed MCY. I think it was hi guys. Was this the auto concede? Let's see. I don't need Graveyard. Why did I click that? Commander. Yeah, Ojutai auto concedes, and I had this pretty sweet hand, honestly. I was gonna go turn 1 Bauble into Command Tower Bauble. Turn 2, I was also considering turn 1 Ponder to maybe, like, if I hit Crypt, that'd be amazing because I can go Crypt Bauble. But it was a very balanced hand, and I knew that if I could ramp Tezzeret out against Control, which is generally what Ojutai builds are, even though he's playing the worst of the 2 Ojutais, I think it's cool, it's admirable that he's playing it. It's the Frost Titan effect. Tap a non-land permanent. It's not even as good as Frost Titan. Tap a non-land permanent an opponent controls, it doesn't untap. God, that's so much worse than I thought. It doesn't tap lands. Alright, so they auto-concede, though, and, you know, maybe Rashmi's a terrifying commander to him, or maybe he loaded up the wrong deck, which I felt was more likely the issue. So, Azen666. Let me pop out the commanders. I've won most of these die rolls for some reason. I've been on a good streak with them. Sliver Queen. This was another auto concede. So I have this cool turn 1 play. So I go for the Tree of Tails because I want to run out this birds first. And Sliver Queen tells me either 5-color combo or slivers. There's nothing else that gets built in the Sliver Queen deck, because anything else that's built in the deck, like Voltron, you should be using Horde of Notions or Child of Alara. So Sliver Queen is always one of those 2 archetypes, in my opinion, and it's the idea. Playing Sliver Queen tells me that you are playing one of those 2 archetypes. If he is not playing one of those 2, he's doing himself a disservice by playing Sliver Queen. I could see it there being an argument for the Super Friends build, but I think Child of Alara might be the better Super Friends commander, or Horde of Notions be the better Super Friends commander, because Vigilance Haste 5/5 that attacks and blocks for your walkers, while regrowing the good elementals like Maelstrom Wanderer, Mulldrifter, Shriekmaw, things like that. Ingot Chewer. So I think Super Friends is more commonly under Horde of Notions, though Trax is probably taking that title very quickly. So I'm going to run out this Birds here. There's the chance that he's on combo and I lose turn 1 is slim to none. I really don't want him to resolve a Crypt, but if he goes Land Crypts, Pierces, I don't want him to resolve Crypt, so Land Crypt into like a Coalition Relic would probably be like the worst case scenario for not holding up this Pierce. But I need to get my ramp going, and the chance of having a turn 3 Jace, or turn 2 Disruption, turn 3 Jace, is pretty fantastic. Pick up Peregrine Drake, one of the new additions to the deck. Actually, I don't know if I drew that. I think I did. And they concede, and to me this says they probably kept a hand that was like on the cusp of getting there. They thought they might be able to, if they drew one more land and they just decided to pack it in immediately. In my opinion, with the change in the Mulligan rule, you can pick up those types of hands and say, oh, this would be great if I had one more hand, and safely mulligan in a way because you have that scry when you hit 6. Even though there's not free mulligans in 1v1, you have a scry to make sure that you hit that land. I guess it was good enough. Like maybe he had turn to Gilded Drake, steal one, like my Rashmi. Like if I somehow ramped her out, I don't know. There's lots of options, but we don't get to find out. Another idea of Sliver Queen, if you're not playing one of those, I guess 3 archetypes, you do yourself a disservice by playing Sliver Queen, because I'm going to assume, well, I'm going to play against you as if you're combo, because it's the best version of Sliver Queen. But you could be playing one of like the Super Friends or the Slivers token Slivers, but I think Sliver Overlord is the tutor. I think he's the one that tutors for Slivers. He's probably the better Sliver tribal commander. Or it, I guess. Alright, so that was Azen, Killer Narwhal. What are you playing, Killer? Let's see. Pop them out. Reese the Redeemed. Alright, I think this was a match. No, this is the Mulligan to 0, Mulligan now to 5 and Scoop. And this is really the problem I've noticed, and I see this even more when I'm playing Vendilion Click, is people don't like playing against blue decks. They just don't. It's part of the color pie. Like white, you get to produce tokens and go super wide and gain life. Fine, do it. Gain however much life you want. I'll still play the game. You can gain 1,000 life on MTGO, and I will still play again. I don't know if it sets it or if it locks it or something. There was someone who tested that at one point. I think Royal Al might have tested it. Check out some of his videos. He's got a slew of Commander videos. So, each part of the color pie has different stuff to offer. You're playing red, you can destroy stuff really well. Black, alright, well, my enchantments are going to be fine, but you get to pay life instead of mana for things. Each color brings its own things. The fact is, blue doesn't have really good removal. My removal has to happen on the stack. My removal is strictly worse than white removal. But some people. David Copper, DEIVID. All right, let's see. I think we actually get to play this game. Oh, why am I clicking over there? So used to actually playing instead of recording videos. Yeah, I play against Teferi. So this is sort of the multiplayer version of Jace, or JVP. I refuse to call him Baby Jace. Baby Jace is Lorwyn Jace, in my opinion, because he's the 3-mana Jace. Jace, when someone says Jace, they mean Jace the Rand Sculptor. Baby Jace is Lorwyn, the original Jace. JVP, or Jace Vryn's Prodigy, is JVP. He is not Baby Jace. You can call him Flip Jace. He's not Baby Jace, in my opinion, because the colloquial term of Baby Jace was already ascribed to Jace Beleren, in my experience, but I've played since then, so. Alright. Teferi, though. Teferi is typically high tide combo, and this is no different. The reason I'm saying this is the multiplayer commander and Jace is the 1v1 commander is because Jace comes down on turn 2 and he starts getting you advantage. Teferi doesn't come down until you're trying to go off, so you need other cards to get your card selection. Jace is card selection, and he's harder to disrupt than Teferi just because he comes down a lot sooner and you can keep recasting him. In the 1v1 where targeted removal is more prevalent. In multiplayer, targeted removal isn't as prevalent, so Teferi can sit on board a little bit longer and maybe go up before he starts going down and getting you mana on your combo turn. But so I'm going to lead on the island here. I want to potentially draw a second blue source, so I have turn 2 drain. If not, I'm just going to go for the forest and keep it the Nature's Claim. The chance of him having something on turn 1 that I want to claim, I can just do it on my turn 2 if it's absolutely terrifying of letting him keep it. Second player to give me a good luck, have fun. And we talk a little bit after the game about some mistakes that were made. So I pick up colorless land. I'm just going to run the forest out just in case I need to claim something. Thankfully, he didn't have a turn 1 Sol Ring or Crypt to play. Let's keep going. Sky Diamond. Alright, well, I'm going to play the mana denial game here. And even though I could drain this, I don't have anything to feed 2 mana into yet. Sorry, I couldn't actually drain this. I don't have blue. Me getting tunnel vision. Alright, so I'm going to leak this because the more he ramps, the less value Leak has. And Leak's best value is going to be countering his ramp effects. So I'm going to leak the Sky Diamond, and he ships it right back. This is probably one of my favorite arts out of the new Zendikar set for the islands. Side note. Although nothing beats my John Avon 7th edition, guys. Pick up a tap blue source. One of the few tap lands in the deck, but it's a budget mana base. What are you going to do? And I'm going to run out Thrasios here. I have no counterspell to hold up. Holding up Nature's Claim's not worth it. Next turn, I can play Blighted Woodland and hold up either Mana Drain or Thrasios, new addition to the deck also, if I play the Blighted Woodland and play him on this turn. So his ability is pay 4 mana for generic mana. Scry 1, draw... Wow, Scry 4 would be amazing. Scry 1, then reveal top card of your library. If it land, it goes into play tapped, otherwise draw it. And he has partner, not relevant because I don't even own any other partners. He's the only one. And 3 mana pass. Well, I'm not running anything into that. That sounds like a counterspell. I'm definitely not going to run Rashmi into mana drain mana, so he can drain Rashmi, cast Teferi, cast High Tide, cast Teferi, play Island, untap 4, go to 8 mana, have 2 Storm, and proceed to win the game. Misty Rainforest into Thran Dynamo. Well, I'm going to claim that, but I'm not going to do it yet because I really want to get value off Thrasios. Draw Sensei's Divining Top. Pick up a forest. I'm going to claim that, and do I play Rashmi here? Nope, I just ship it back. I'm going to still hold up this drain because I'm planning to feed this drain into top activation and Rashmi if I can. And he gives me a wonderful 4-mana spell in Padim, Console of Innovation, which I want to be able to interact with his artifacts, especially with this Eternal Witness, getting back this claim potentially. So being able to giving them hexproof is not what I want. The additional value of him drawing cards just for having a rock in play, because I don't play that very many rocks in the deck, is too terrifying for me to allow happen. So that is a wonderful drain target. And I'm going to get my 4 mana. I'm going to start with Rashmi. Play the top peak. I see Venser. Can't cast that yet. Cold Steel Heart Island. So here's the really cool plays that you can do with Rashmi. So I see Island. I haven't played a land yet. I'm going to top draw the Island and just ship the turn back. Now I'm going to use Thrasios on his turn. I'm going to fake a counterspell. Use Thrasios on his turn to draw the Island again. Now if I couldn't use Thrasios without drawing that Island. So top gained me 1 mana there. So I returned it to my hand, and I got a land into play for the cost. So I drew a card for returning top to my hand, effectively, instead of putting it on top of my library, is how that interacted. So I'm going to get in. They bounce off each other. I'm going to replay the top, reveal the Cold Steel Heart that I knew was there. I could have deep analysis into it, and there's a chance that that could have been the correct play, but I really wanted to hold a Venser this turn. And boy, am I glad I did. So I see Frantic Search Negate. Now check out this amazing play that's about to happen. So I stack Negate. I don't remember what the third was. I stack Negate second from the top and Frantic Search. So I'll flip Frantic Search by casting a spell on his turn off of the Rashmi ability. 5 mana. Alright. Gilded Lotus. So I'm going to let him get his Rashmi. He gets an island. Alright. I'm going to cast Venser. Venser reveals Frantic Search. I would love to cast Frantic Search. I'm going to draw 2. Draw 2, discard 2. I don't need this Cold Steel Heart. My ramp's been going fine. And Ponder feels like it's a little bit win more here. So I'm going to pitch that. Because I have the deep analysis anyway, I have top going. Ponder doesn't need to happen. Now I get to untap some lands. What am I going to do with Venser? I'm going to bounce that Rashmi. I don't want that happening anymore. Do I want to get like Gilded Lotus resolve? Nah, I'm going to use this negate. And just like that, because of Rashmi's ability, I was able to cast Venser for 4 mana, cast a 3 mana Frantic Search for free, gaining me 3 mana, so Venser cost me 1, and then use 2 of the mana that I spent, that I got back, playing negate. So I spent 3 mana collectively on that turn to cast Venser, draw 2 cards, and counter a spell. Just because Rashmi. Oh my god, it feels so good. I still have Sensei's top mana up, and I love seeing that Rift there. I'm going to sandbag that for later. I'm going to Rampant Growth, reveal the Yavimaya Coast that I saw there, get me to land for the turn, play an island, get an island, play the coast, crack into the red zone, and I think about going for the deep analysis this turn. I decide not to because I think I already played. Yeah, I played the spell already, so I didn't want to deep analysis and draw nothing, or get no free spell. So I'll sandbag it till next turn, and I have top plus Rift on this turn also. So they go with a Caged Sun. Well, that is a hell of a play. I'm going to look with my top, pretend I'm looking for a counterspell. I already have a plan for what I'm going to do, though. So I see Jace, Legacy's Allure, totally dead card against what I'm presuming his build to be, and 3 Visits, so some more ramp going on. And that can get me the Breeding Pool, make my mana even better. But I want that Jace mostly. So, but I don't want him to know that I have the Jace. Maybe he'll like plan around it somehow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to top draw, cast Cyclonic Rift, targeting the Caged Sun, reveal the Sensei's top. So I got to draw a card for free. I drew Jace the Mind Sculptor without revealing Jace the Mind Sculptor to Rashmi's ability. I could have let him see the Jace and still have tap up, but I'd rather just let him see the top that he knows I continuously have. So even though this isn't actually card advantage, I'm hiding information from him using the Rashmi top interaction at this point. So he has no idea, the Teferi player has no idea what I've drawn off Jace here. I know this video is getting a little long. This is the last game. Bear with me. So I'm going to keep cracking in. Reveal Kiora, see the Strip Mine. I'm going to 3 Visits, pick up the Strip Mine, get a Breeding Pool, strip an island, throw Eternal Witness down, and pick up a Drain. And just like that, I am in such a driver's seat position. I have Mana Drain mana up, plus top activation. Next turn I have Jace plus deep analysis with top going. Phyrexian and Metamorph, I'm going to look at what I got. I see a Crypt. I'll drain that. Reveal the top. Don't let him see the Crypt. Pick up Oracle Moldiah, have mana floating. Top activation first, trying to figure out what I want. I see a Shackles, that is a great free spell to get off this Oracle Moldiah. Play 2 land, or, no, I don't play, do I play lands? I think I did. Think for a sec, play the Crypt, play Jace, play an additional land off the top, after a Jace Storm, and keep crashing in. Down to 21. Well, I'll let Caged Sun resolve now. You've worked hard enough to get that into play. So I'm going to activate Thrasios, scry the Mazavith to the bottom, reveal land, put land into play. Use Sensei Stop, reveal Think Twice, pick up Think Twice, get 2 lands into play off the top of my library, crash in the red zone down to 12, and reveal Amnesia. And wow, this game has turned around. I'm going to, I think for a sec, I'm going to activate Jace, try to see a little bit deeper into my library. Oh no, sorry. I activate Jace targeting my opponent and see the Cyclonic Rift that I didn't want to happen. So I activate him just in time. They have plenty of mana. I have no way to deal with this Cage Sun currently. How about I just put that on the bottom? I'm going to Amnesia my opponent, rip their hand apart, Polluted Delta, Part the Water Veil, Time Twister, and Rush of Knowledge, which would be draw 6. What a game. My opponent scoops to the Amnesia, and I let him know that I had bottomed their Cyclonic Rift, which at this point is their only out to this board. I don't have a counterspell, but I have Think Twice. And this is where Pact of Negation will really come in useful. I could top draw the Tolaria West, transmute the Tolaria West for Pact of Negation, and just keep that up because it's free mana. It doesn't matter if I tap out. I have 11 damage coming in on my turn, putting them to 1. And if they play any creature, I have Shackles for game. Game's well and truly over here. I have Blighted Woodland to shuffle some more if I need to, but I don't think they're getting back from this. I could also use to get this Riptide Laboratory down. And 1, 2, I had exactly enough mana to play this, activate it, bounce Venser, and recast Venser on my turn as well, on their turn as well. So, very good game against a Fairy, who I think is the inferior commander for 1v1, but the superior one for multiplayer. Hope you guys enjoy the video. I know it's one of my longer ones, but I'm trying to get a little bit better about that. If you like it, don't forget to like the video, share it to anyone you think might enjoy it, subscribe to the channel for more updates. Don't forget you can turn on the notification settings so you can be notified every single time I post a brand new video. You'll be one of the first people to comment and interact with me. If I made any misplays, let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure I made a couple across the games that you did get to see. I think 3 of them were just concessions to the Rashmi, the sheer terror that Rashmi inspires in your opponents. Botanical Sanctum's a new inclusion. I know I said I would talk about them. Let me pull the deck list up real quick in case you want to see what I'm working with so far. Let's see. It's going to work for me. MTGO never likes switching these tabs. So bad. Rashmi, converted mana cost. So I have 2 Kioras. I have Sower, Jace, Venser was a new pickup. I need to add him to other decks. Gush because it's a free spell. Peregrine Drake because it's a free spell. Tameo, Tezzeret, Gilded Lotus. I picked up a Forbid finally. For some reason I didn't own one. I re-added Simic Signet, Thought Vessel, 3 Visits, and Nature's Lore now in the deck, replacing some of my 3-slot. Nissa's the only 3-drop ramp spell because, I mean, she's good value when she flips. And she's more drawing cards. Mystic Remora is still in there. I love that card. I added the Spell Pierce, which you saw, even though I didn't really get to use it. Legacy's Allure. I tweaked the lands a little bit, cut one of the tap lands, added the Seed of the Synod and the Tree of Tales because I have both Trinket Mage and Tezzeret that can go and get them. So I wanted Trinket Mage to be able to fetch me green mana, not just one of 4 choices. So now he has 6 choices that Trinket Mage can go and get. The Vault, the Top, the Ring, the Crypt, and the 2 lands. Picked up Botanical Sanctum. I cut the blue Blighted. I only want the ramp effect. The draw isn't necessary. The commander does it. It's such an expensive ability. But the ability to ramp a little bit when they don't do anything is pretty fantastic. I think Thrasios is a very good addition. He's one of the only creatures. I cut a lot of the creatures. You notice Green Sun's cut. I think I had... what else was up here at the top end? Some blue X spell. Or blue Delve spell or something. But I've pushed the curve down a little bit, trying to make it more mana efficient. I increased the island count by 1 for Shackles effects. I increased the forest count by 1. I hope you guys enjoy. This is the full deck list at the moment. Screenshot the video if you want to take a look at it. And I'll see you all in the next one.